Right.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sunanda, advanced happy Diwali, sir. Thank you, Ma. Wish you the same. So let us move to the further. So I hope in the last session we started with importance of multi-threading. Importance of multi-threading we started. Threads under that. In the beginning part, we started with the most important topic, thread-based application and process-based application and their execution time, definition of thread, need of creating thread. We discussed it. Now today we will go for module name required for developing thread-based applications. We just want to discuss it here. So simple students. So I'm going to take up module name required for learning thread-based applications. So here we discuss module name. So the module name required for developing thread-based applications is the module name required for developing thread-based applications is, threading. Okay. The module name required for developing thread-based applications is threading. Threading. So here, speed. So the module name required for developing thread-based applications is threading. So what do you mean by module generally? Come on, answer this now. The threading module generally containing, as usual, all the times it is same. So the threading module contains global variables. Come on, fast. Functions. Right, good. Class names. What are those functions and class names you need to understand? Threading module contains global variables, functions, and class names. What are the functions present in module name called threading? So all those things one by one I want to discuss it now. So let me take module name here and I'll go for what will be the functions present inside of it. Functions in threading module. Functions in threading module. I'm going to discuss. Very easy. Don't take much time, students, because that is easy. So what are the functions present in that? Next we will learn it. Class name 1. Class name 1. Class name 1. Present in threading module. Threading module. Class name 1 present into threading module. Similarly, one more. Class name 2 present in threading module. Class name 2 present in threading module. Class name 2 present in threading module. These are the things. What are the functions present in threading module? Class name 1 present in threading module. Class name 2 present in threading module. Right now. So what are the first function here? I'll write the function names first. Current underscore thread. Current underscore thread. Next, second function is available. The second function is active underscore count. Active underscore count. These are the two functions present into threading module. Present into threading module. Class name 1 present into threading module is thread class. Thread class. Class name 1 present into threading module is thread class. Class name to present in threading module is lock class. Lock class. So what are the functions present in thread class? So I'm writing here functions present in which class? Thread class. Functions present in thread class. What are the functions present in thread class? Now I'm writing number one. Number one, I will discuss those things well. Thread of target comma arcs. Arcs. Second one I will go for it. Second one I will go for it. Start. Third one I will go for it. Set name. Set name. Set name of what you know str, which is a deprecated in the name of what? Name attribute. Next is called one more, but before I will write it. Third, that is get name, get name, get name of there is a deprecation in that there is name is available. Set name which is taking fourth function which is having deprecated on the name of name attribute. Next I'm going to take it. Fifth one I'm going to take it. There I'm going to start about is underscore alive. Is underscore alive. And the sixth function is join function. These are the functions present in where? Thread class. The another kind of class is present is lock class. Similar manner. Functions present into lock class. Functions present into lock class. So there are two functions are present. One is called acquired. One is called acquired. One more is called a release. Release. These are the two functions present into lock class. So don't take much time because we do the programming on this. So let us move to the first one called what? Current thread. What is the use of this current thread? So what is the use of current thread? Yesterday I said by default how many threads are there in Python program? By default one. By default one thread is there. Yesterday's class I shown now. So what is the use of current thread function? This function is used for obtaining currently executing thread. Currently executing thread. Currently executing thread. Simple. What is the syntax, sir? What is the syntax? How you can call it? Syntax is, how do you call? Thread name, that is variable name is equal to threading dot. These are the functions present in threading module. Threading dot. What is the function name? Current underscore thread. Current underscore thread. This will give you name of the thread with an ID. With an ID. To get the only the thread name, we are using one attribute called dot name. So let me show you the example, then I will come back to this. That attribute is something like a name only, global variable it is called. So let us go to the current thread method explanation here. Go to this place, edit plus, you execute the same program even in PyCharm also, you know, already from the beginning onwards. Program for showing current thread, showing or program for getting current thread which is executing, which is executing. I already said, once again I am going to give you here. What is this now? So current thread method explanation, current underscore current thread example one example py. How do you do that? Import. Don't take much time. Already have a lot of knowledge about modules. Threading dot, threading dot. What is this? Current underscore thread, current underscore thread, current underscore thread, which will give you what? Some name. T I said T. T. I'll print a T. I'll print a T just. What will happen? You see, save this code, go to the threads here, save this logic here, current thread example.py. Go to the command prompt, CMD, execute. Come on, all the students in online. Here I'm writing E colon CD. Go to this place, Python 6 here, 7 a.m. So I'm writing. What is the next I'm writing? Threads. There I need to execute. py current thread execution. It is going to give you thread name and its attribute is coming. This ID will be changing continuously. That is not a fixed ID which is going to come across. Any type of ID will be coming, depends on the memory management in this place. I want this ID to get it. For that, from that, I want to retrieve what? Name. Like, students, A is equal to 2 plus 3G is an object. When I print off A, it will print 2 plus 3J only. To print only this 2, I will use what? A dot. From this, I'll say what? Real. So you will be getting only that particular part. To A dot what? IMAG, which will give you what, mom? 3.0. Right, students? Right, good. So if you print that, I want to print here. T dot what now? T dot what now? Name. From that entire thing, T dot name. So I will write it here. Default thread name. Default thread name is equal to comma T dot name. Execute it. Execute it. See the answer now. str object T name. Okay, already I used it. Okay, remove that and you used it again here. Are you getting or not? Main thread. So here in other way around you can use it like this. In other way around you can use it something like this. So there you are saying, you can say, or you can say this same thing. Here I will write it. T name is equal to dot what? Name. Same thing I will write it. So same thing I will write it. In this way also I can write it. Simply I will write what? T name. Execute it. So you'll get the answer called what? Default thread name. Either this way you can get it or this way you can get it. I think you are following me. Print off. I will write this statement for your better understanding. So done. Now come out of that, execute it, got it. Online students, did you understand? So what is this name is called? A global variable present into where? Threading module itself. With that we are getting. Only few people are responding. Usha, Haripriya, only few people are responding. Rupesh, Nagaraju, Emmanuel. Whenever I am asking, you are responding. Ramakrishna, Niharika, Arshad, Ramakrishna. Only few people respond. Respond, all of you. Now go to the further. Sunanda, right. Go to the next one. I'll go to active thread. I want to go for it. Tell me some certain things you have to understand automatically. What do you mean by active thread? By default, how many threads are there? I said one. So active thread will give you what? Number of threads which are actively running in the program. This function is used for what? Come on. This function is used for obtaining number of active threads. Active threads. Number of number of threads which are running. Running threads are called what? Active threads. So suppose number of students are there in the class. Only few people are actively interacting with me. They are called which count? Active count. So how do you get it? Number of thread objects. Number of thread objects is equal to TOBJs is equal to what is that? Threading dot. Threading dot. What is the function name? Active count. Active underscore count. So there I will print it. Print of number of active threads. I can print it. Here I can say variable name. I can write it. Variable name. I can print that variable name as a syntax I said. Go to the program now. This is the one. I'll say one more example. Here I will go for it. Others here, Python There I'm writing. So this is called what? Active thread example. Active thread example. Hmm, Simple. Come on, start. How do you apply? Active threads example.py. Program for getting number of program for getting number of active threads. Active threads which are executing. So this is called one thing I can say. If you remove that, I will directly write it. Number of the number of thread objects is equal to NOT objects is equal to threading dot function name active underscore counter, which will give you number of active threads. Here I will write number of active threads. Number of active threads is equal to not number of active threads. Number of, I will write it, active threads is equal to that variable I will write as it is for you so that it is readability is also increased. So run this code here, save this, done, execute. How many threads are there in the Python program by default? One is there. What is an answer? One. What is its name? If you want to print of name of hmm, currently executing thread. I forget. How do I get it? Comma. Threading dot. Come on. Current underscore thread of dot name. That's all. So you are getting number of active threads one. Name of currently executing thread is that. Name of currently executing thread. So you are understanding that meaning here. So got the output. Number of active threads one. Name of currently executing thread is main thread. So got it. This is about concept of active threads concept here. Now I will move to the further one more function. So these functions are clear. These two functions are clear. Now I'll move to the further. Here I will write it. Students observe it. If you want to get the name of it, I can write what? Name also I can write it. Dot name. So what is the name here? Because some special link. Here name is one of the one of the global variable. Global variable. Right. Come to most important thing is class name present in the threading module. So threading is a module. Module is a collection of global variables, functions, and class names. So functions we have seen here. Two functions are available. Now I'm going to enter into the how to create entering into the thread class. What is the use of thread class, students? The purpose of creating the purpose of thread class is tell me the purpose of thread class. Come on, students, answer my question. What is the use of thread class? What is the use of thread class? I'm writing the purpose of thread class. Answer. Thread class is that if we say I will write it. The purpose of thread class is that to create Venkat. Good. Not to start not to start is that to create what threads? Subthreads. Subthreads. For that purpose only we use now. The purpose of thread class is that to create subthread for executing multiple functions. Multiple functions. Apply what methods concurrently. Concurrently. You already understood what do you mean by concurrency. Did you understand? Right. So how do you create a multiple threads? So to do that, we are having some functions are present here. What are those functions we are going to take up? So this thread class contains these many number of functions. First function I'm going to talk about. Okay. Easy. Second function also, third function also, and fourth function also. Almost we understood yesterday only, but we are going to give the notes for it. What is the use of thread class? Purpose of thread class is that to create subthreads for executing multiple functions or methods concurrently, you said. Then how do you create a thread? How do you create a list object? Tell me, students. L1 is equal to list of. L2 is equal to list of. What is this is called list? L1 and L2 object. Objects, right or not? L3 is equal to once again list of. These are all called a different type of objects. So similar manner, in order to make my functions to execute concurrently, I must create an object of what class? Thread class. To create an object of thread class, we use this type of function. Understand? So I'll write the syntax, students. I will write it. Description, I will write it. This function is used for, this function is used for creating what? Threads, creating subthreads, maybe one or more than one, for executing, for executing targeted function, for executing targeted function or functions. Are you following me? How do you go for the syntax? Syntax I'm going to talk. What are the syntax here? Tell me. Thread name, subthread name, subthread subthread obj is equal to, come on, threading dot current threading dot thread of. Yesterday you have seen certain example, students. I'll open that. Well, why I shown you yesterday some example. Default thread flow I said. Default thread flow I said. Welcome is a function, hello is a function, hi is a function. And we call normally like it is like a normal Python program. Who will execute my functions? So far we understood that every function is executed by whom? Thread. Which thread? Main thread. This is what example of default thread flow I said. This is a quite natural, normal multi-threading program only. But we need what today? I don't want to execute one by one. I want to go for executing what? Subthread flow example I shown you yesterday. Look at that. Welcome function, hello function, hi function. Now I want to go for what? Program execution started by main thread only and create subthread. What is that? Thread object name is equal to subthread name object is equal to threading dot thread of target is equal to what? Welcome of. It means when you are creating a subthread, you are telling the destination where to go. You are telling the destination which subthread is meant for executing which function. That is, if I create one thread, but a thread will have a target to do it. Correct or not? Every subthread must have the target. That sub target thread you must take it. That you are getting through what? Welcome. Like a target kind of keyword or argument you are passing it. Did you understand? So what is this concept is saying here? Syntax is subthread is equal to, what is this? Target is equal to, what is this now? Function or what? Method name. Function or what? Method name, comma. If here you see, students, here it is not taking any type of parameter. So we are not passing any arguments to the targeted function. Suppose if any function takes the parameter, definitely we will pass what? Arguments we will pass it. Do you know arguments? Any values passing through functions, they are called arguments. Any type of variable taken by the function heading is called parameters. Parameters can be formal parameters, positional parameters, keyword arguments, so many parameters names you have discussed it. So we are going to use it, that kind of thing. Now, moreover, one more thing I already shown you, this kind of execution, students. Just observe it. This function is taking parameter here, and you need to pass what? Thread T1 you are creating, target to go to is square, and you need to pass what? Args you need to pass. Args is also keyword argument. You are passing list of. What is this list of is called? This you need to pass. Any type of arguments you want to pass to the targeted function, it should be tuple format. So tuple format means what? It can take one value, two value, three values, any number of values, including unique plus duplicate. But only thing is, why they are passing to tuple when it is going to this place, they are not supposed to change. For that purpose, they are using tuple kind of syntax notation. So I'm writing what here? Function name. What is this now? Args is equal to, what is this now? V1, value 1, value 1, value 2, so on, value n I am going to write it. I think you are following me. So here we say something this side. So this is the syntax we have. Value 1, value 2, value n. Come on, this you need to say. Because more than one value you specify, no problem. If you specify the single value, no problem. Are you following me? This function is used for creating subthreads for executing targeted function by by hmm, by taking by of arguments by taking couple of arguments specifying the couple of arguments mandatory optional couple of arguments is optional. Why optional? As I said to you, when it is not taking any parameter, we don't mention what? We don't mention. Where is that example, students? That example is this one. This example here. When it is not taking any parameter, we don't mention what? Again, it is same thing open now. Current thread, active thread, default thread flow, and subthread execution. Okay, one more is subthread flow. Okay, this one I want to show. Now see, when a function is not taking any parameter, we don't mention what? Args. If a function is taking what? Parameters, we mention the args. So that part you are understanding by taking arguments. So I will write it in here in detail. What in detail? If a function is taking, if the target function is taking, here I will write it. If the target function is taking, here I am writing. If the target function is taking, if the target function is taking what? Parameters, parameters, parameters. Then we must specify, then we must specify what? Then we must specify args, args values. So if the target function does not take any parameters, if the target function does not take, if the target function does not take, does not take, does not take any parameters, then we need not to specify what? Args values. It's more clear, I think so. Now I'll go to, this is called a creating subthread example. Understood? In this case, use look at students. In our case, I need not write again the same thing. Here we are not taking any parameters. We created what? Target objects, only hello and welcome, hello, and then hi. Which one is not there? Arcs is not there. Only subthread creation is enough? No. Subthread creation is not enough. What to do then? What to do then? I need to dispatch it. Only so you are setting the target. So first thread need to do X function, second thread need to do Y function, third thread need to do Z function. We need to dispatch our threads to execute our functions or not. So for that we use which function? Start function. I hope you are following me. So students in online, come to the point of it. What are the syntax here? I'll write. This function is used for, this function is used for dispatching, dispatching, dispatching subthreads, subthread in the bracket S for executing, for executing. This function is used for dispatching subthreads for executing target function, target function. for executing target function. Without using start function, subthread cannot start the execution. Are you following me? Without using start function, if you want, I can write next line. Without using Hilarasan, point by point. Without using start function, we can't execute subthread. We can't execute subthread. What are the syntax here? What are the syntax? Subthread object one dot start, two dot subthread object dot two dot start. Like that, n number of threads we will start it. Like this, we can say n number of threads we can say start. N I can write it. Subthread n dot start. So students, I hope you are understanding the meaning of this. What do you mean by these are the very, very important students. Without executing start method, we can't execute subthreads. Now, next one I'm going to enter into online students up to here. Is it clear? So here you will see subthread flow. We said what? Dot start, dot start, dot start. Able to follow? Right. Next time I want to go for it. As I said you yesterday's class, once you create any subthread, what is L1 is called? Object. What is its name internally? Thread 1. That is the default name assigned by the Python environment for subthread. L2 is an object whose name is thread 2. L3 is an object whose name is what? Thread 3. Like that, I created multiple subthreads which are started also. And I'm giving some special statement 16th line, 18th line, and then 23rd line. These are called something like what? Assigning the name to the subthreads, which is a modern approach. In earlier, there is a function name called what? Get name, set name. This get name and set name are called what? Deprecated. Deprecated means what? Changed. So future warning and all those things we are getting or not. What I am doing is go to this program. In this program, you go to it, subthread flow. I will take them, go to this place. New program, I will take it. Here I am going to take, saying here, set get subthreads, subthread example, of course, which include what? Start also. Start set get the subthreads example.py. I defined multiple functions and I created subthreads. And here you are writing. If you want only one thread, I will take first. First, I will take one thread. Later, I will go for multiple things. Least bother about this kind of thing. Try to take one thread first. So here L1 getting executed, whose name is called thread 1. What is this now? L1 dot what here? Start. This first example. So let us save this now. Execute this now. Subthread execution. Internal flow of subthread. Subthreads. Okay. So try to execute. What is happening? You see here. PY. So you are going to get it. Program execution started by main thread. Program execution ended by what? Main thread. In the middle of it, what we did? Welcome function executed by what? Thread 1. So because L1 is targeted to what? Welcome. What is its name, sir? I want to print its name. I want to print its name. What is the name printed already? You have seen it. Thread 1. Today I want to change it. How do you change it? L1 dot. There is a function name called set name. Last class I said modern approach only, but I want to just to mention it. What I'm mentioning it now, for example, I'm saying something like row sum I'm writing it. For example, what happens because of that? You see here, I will write it. This before that I'm writing it. Set name. You will get one warning message. What is the warning message? Set name is not there in the present versions. It is changed on which name? Name attribute you cannot use set name, you'll get some warning message or completely error may come. A warning message is coming, students. You try to understand. Deprecation warning is coming. Set name is deprecated. Deprecated means changed. Set the name attribute. Set the name attribute instead. Instead of the set name, you use what? Dot name is equal to value. So welcome is executed by Rosam, no doubt in that. Answer got it. But warning is coming or not? That's why this type of function set name is totally outdated, I am saying. But we need not to learn it. How do you write it? Instead of writing that a complicated thing, simply we will do what? There is an attribute called what? L1 dot name is equal to, simply I am going to say, Rosam here I am going to say. Did you understand? Says here, this is called setting the name to the subthread name here. Execute it. You are getting perfectly the answer is called what? Rosam. How do you get the name of the thread? How do you get the name of the thread? Print. This is called setting the name of the thread. Setting the name to the subthread. Setting the name to the subthread. Print name of subthread. Name of subthread is equal to some T name I am writing it. How do you get the T name generally? T name is equal to, you are getting L1 dot get name, you are writing L1 dot get name. Get name is also outdated. The deprecation warning is coming. See students, you are getting it. T name of the subthread Rosam, but what is happening? Deprecation. Get name is deprecated on the name of what? Name attribute only. So that get name also outdated. You need not to use it. Simply you say what? Simply you say what? T dot what? Name. This is simplest part of it. Thread is there. Thread contains what? Name attribute. You set the name to that. Thread contains name. You get that. Simple. You execute it. So T is called what here? L1. Here I need write what? L1 dot name. So I got it now. Name of the subthread and welcome is executed by subthread. Main thread is initiation start and ending also done by that. Clear up? So here T1 L1 dot name. If I write left side and if I write expression format, assigning the value, just retrieving, you will be getting it. So students, I'm going to enter into this place. Instead of get name and set name, what I'm doing is changing it here. What is the third one? What is the third one here? Come on, here I am writing subthread obj dot get name. This gives, it is used for what? It is used for getting the name of, what? Subthread. Getting the name of the subthread. In place of set name of str, you have to write it as what? Subthread name is equal to, what is that? str. That is called what? Subthread name. Subthread name I am giving. What is the use of this function? What is the name of this attribute? It is used for setting, the name of, what? Subthread. Setting the name of subthread. I think you are following me. Clear or not clear? So one is called getting. It is just like a getting the name of the thread. What is this is not nothing but setting the name to the subthread. This is called getting the name of the subthread. Setting the name to the subthread. In earlier we used what? Get name and set name. So why to carry that? So try to go for this kind of thing. Clear up? Right. Next I'll go to is alive. What do you mean by is alive? As long as the thread is executing, thread is live. Once a thread completed the execution of the function of targeted, is alive returns what? False. So what is the use of this? This function is used for checking checking the execution status of checking the execution status of subthread, execution status of subthread. In other words, I can write it. So this one I will go. This function returns, true provided, this function returns true provided, thread is, hmm, subthread is under execution. Subthread is under execution. This function returns false. This function returns false, provided thread is. This function returns false, provided subthread is not under execution, or completed execution, or completed execution. I will show you both of them to you. Completed execution. I'll give you complete picture for you. At the same time, join also will be covered in that place. The join is optional to use. Now let me go to the is alive here. So first of all, is it clear? Is it clear how to set the name to the subthread, how to get the name of the subthread? Now I'm going to talk about is alive. What do you mean by is alive? When it is under execution, it returns true. When it is not under execution, it is false. Suppose a student is responding for a very question, is called live. A student not opening the mouth is called what? Not live. Just opening eyes, but not responding. So is alive is false. Is responding, is alive is true. Something like that. Let me take this example. In this case, only welcome function is required. Other functions not required. Let me take the same thing. Here I am writing it. Very, very easy, students. Make to go for this. Here I am writing which one is alive, subthread example dot py. Welcome function only, main function, created the target, setting the name to that. Name of the thread also printing L1 dot start you set. So who will execute? Very careful point I am saying. Everybody need to listen. So what is happening now? One more thread I will create. L2 also I will create. So you understood that kind of thing. One more thread also I will create. One more thread. How do you create one more thread? L2 is equal to welcome. I will say hello here. Hello I am writing. Some function name hello I am writing. So here I am writing def hello. Like earlier. Def hello. So I'm writing here. There I'm writing hello function executed by thread. So L2 name also I want to give it. L2 name. This is L1. Setting the name to the subthread. Here only I will write it. Okay. This is done. Here L2 dot. What is this? Name is equal to something like Travis. I will write it. So next what I do? Dispatch the subthreads. Dispatch the subthreads. Fine. Dispatch the subthread L1 dot start, L2 dot start, L2 dot start. Be careful, students. So I'm having L1 dot start, L2 dot start. Before dispatching, this is dispatch the subthreads. You try to check it. Check the execution status. Check the execution status. Execution status of subthreads. 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 Before start function. Before starting, I am going to do execution status of T1 or L1 is equal to what is the function name? L1 dot is underscore alive. It returns a Boolean value, students. Execution status of L2. Execution status of L2. L2 is equal to what? L2 dot is alive. Is alive. Be careful. Try to run and see. The moment when you go for this, So here I am writing is. Save this code. Save this code. Writing here. Execute. Py. So here what is happening? Execution status of L1 and L2 before start is called false. Are you okay? Then students, this is welcome function executed by Rosam. Hello function executed by what? Travis. Carefully try to follow. This I started. Suppose even if I don't start, it is going to comes to what? It is not false only, not starting, no more welcome function, allow function executed. Understood? Now, this is execution status you found before start. This is before start. Before start. This is also before start. That means they are not under execution. Fine, students. When you come to dispatch the threads, L1 dot what? Start. Next is called what? L2 dot start. Be careful, students. I'm telling one important point to tell you. How many threads are there now created? Two subthreads. Who is monitoring these subthreads? Main thread. Good. Main thread is monitoring. These two subthreads are monitored by main thread. See, students, once you start L1 dot start, careful because I'm telling one beautiful flow. When you say L1 dot start, it is simply going to where L1 is an object of thread class, which is targeted to welcome. Simply it goes to where welcome function it is executed. L2 also started. It will go to this L2 targeted to hello. It will go. When these people are going, when L1 and L2 are going to where welcome and hello function, do you think that main thread is waiting at the line number 24? Hmm. Do you think that line number 24 is your main thread is waiting? Hmm. Generally, no. Why? Once if I say dispatch, for example, main program means my classroom students. Welcome is called first floor, hello is called second floor. I said to both of these people, go to first floor, go to second floor, I dispatched it. Will I wait for them to come? No, I will execute my other statements in the program. That is called parallel processing. Na? Concurrency means what? When both of you are waiting, I don't wait. I will do my own process. Are you getting or not? So, you tell me, when you dispatched it, do you think that is 24th line main thread is waiting? No, definitely it will execute what? 24th line and 25th line executed by which thread? Main thread compulsory, irrespective of whether they completed or not. That means main thread will not wait for subthread completion. If you want to make main thread to wait for subthread completion, you have to call join function. You have to call join function. What is the meaning of join? Simple. A parent is taken kid 1 and kid 2 to the shopping. Kid 1 and kid 2 to the shopping. Kid 1 went for one shopping, X function executing. This is called X is called shopping. Kid 2 is executing Y function. This is called one more shopper. So parent taken both the kids to the shop. They are executing. Will the parent come to home? The parent will be there until they come and join with whom? Parent. Are you understanding significance of join? By default, what is happening? When you say start, they will go to the respective targeted functions. And at that time, the main thread will not wait until subthreads will complete. Main thread will execute other things. Main thread will come out of it. Execute this concept now. Execute this concept and see the answer now. Dispatched. Yes, it is dispatched. Execute now. See the answer now. What is happening here? Welcome and hello executed by this one. Are you following me? Now see here. For a minute of it, here I am writing one small for loop I will write it. One small for loop I will write it. Or one small for loop here also I will write it. What is the for loop I am writing? For something like what I'm going to write it for ch in where welcome. I'm writing something like this. I am writing welcome. I'm printing there. I'm printing there. Welcome. Here I'm printing print of backslash t. I'll write it. Not what format of ch. Simple logic I'm writing. Just to keep it like that. One simple logic I said. Print of welcome of that. It is printing. This is a logic I wrote inside of where welcome function. Both the threads started. When both of them started, definitely welcome will take some more time or not, because hello will print quickly. So go to that, save this function and execute it. See what is happening. Of course, bracket close. Now see that. You see what is happening. Of course, what is available. Backslash T you say, backslash T you say, execute here. What is happening now? Here I'm going to say welcome executed by Rosam. Welcome is coming. Hello function executed by this. We are getting like this. Ultimately, I'm going to take up here. Subthreads are going to start here. Subthreads are going to start here. And hello function is also there. Here also I'll write one more thing in where hello I am writing it. Hello I am writing it. So this you try to take it. This you try to take it. Here try to print it. Try to execute now. Try to execute. Are you following me? So format of, so here start here L1 dot start, L2 dot start. Hmm? For chin. So coming to this place, here I will write indentation for loop. So I will execute it, execute this one now. So I got it. See carefully. What happens here? Execution of before start is false. Welcome executed by Rosam got it. What happens? Hello function executed by Travis. What is happening? Main program execution ended before completion of what? Subthreads execution. Did you understand my point? Here, when again I will execute, again I will execute. And observe the notice here. So here what is happening? Here it is executed. Here one answer came. Earlier one more answer came or not? You execute again here. What is happening? Here we got it. Welcome function executed by Rosam. Program execution is ended. When? Before executing what? Subthread. So in order to get a constant answer, main program execution to be done at the end of the program, before executing the subthreads, at the end of the subthread execution only you have to do it. So once you start your subthreads, it is always recommended for you to join the subthreads. To with whom? Main thread. Make the main thread to wait until who will join? Subthreads. So how do you do? Make the main thread, make the main thread to wait until until subthreads 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 join subthread, maybe one thread or maybe more than one thread. How do you do that? L1 dot join, L2 dot join, L2 dot join. So to whom the joining is taking place? L1 dot join, L2 dot join. With whom? Main thread. So I'm going to take up that, try to run this code. It is constant answer. After subthread completion only, main thread will be completed. See students, this is a welcome function. This is a hello function. Always main thread will be done at the end only. Execute once again. You may get some different answer here. Done like this. What is the execution status before? False. Now this is a welcome. This is called what? Hello. What is happening? Main thread is ending in the last. Earlier it came in the middle or not? So main thread, if you want to do in the last, you have to understand. I think you are understanding the join function. Students, I will write it, this kind of thing. After start, what is the execution status? After the execution status is what? True. It is a true only. L1 dot is alive, L2 dot is alive after start function, because they are entering into their respective functions or not. What is the answer? True. True printed. See the answer now. Execute it. See this answer. Perfect. So execution status of this one is what? True. Execution status of L2 is true. And getting like this. After completion, after joining, what is the execution status of subthreads? Come on. Execution status of subthreads. Here I will write it. Joined means what? They completed the execution. Joined with whom? Main thread. Execution status of L1 after joining. After joining. They are very, very important. I don't know how far you are understanding. After joining is equal to what? L2 dot is alive. After joining, they completed and joined with whom? Main thread. Are they still executing? No. They completed the execution. What the answer is coming? False is coming. See the answer now. Very, very easy. See the answer now. Execution status of this first one is what? True. After start. Before start is what? False. After start is true. After joining is what? False. After joining means what? No more execution is done. So three stages I am capturing the execution status of subthread. Subthreads before start, subthreads after start, subthreads after joining. So did you understand the significance of join, students? Why to use join? To ensure that main thread is closing the door after sending everybody out. Main thread before going to complete the class, main door is locked by the by the main thread. Is it recommended? No, no. Main door will be closed after completion of all the subthreads. So main thread will be executing always at the end only. That's why I will make all my subthreads to join so that elegancy of multi-threading is carried. Are you following me? Online students, I hope I made you to understand the meaning of what? Join. And is alive before start, is alive after start, is alive at the ending. So if we come back to this place, is alive is clear. So syntax is called what, mom? Syntax is what? Okay. Arshad, understand perfectly? Good. So I'm writing here subthread object dot what is alive, is underscore alive, is underscore alive. Returns what value? Boolean value, true or false value. Right. Join function. What is the use of join function? This function is used for this function is making used for making subthreads to join with whom? Main thread, main thread, main thread for main thread. For getting what? This function is used for making the subthreads to join with the main thread for proper proper thread flow, for proper subthread flow, for proper subthread flow. Okay, this is recommended to go for it. How do you go for it now? Syntax is what? If one thread is there, need not to join, students. So subthread object dot. Whenever you feel that you want to do at the end of the execution to run by main thread, you join the subthread with the main thread. So main thread will wait until who will complete? Subthread. That's all. Very easy, not a difficult. Join now. So there I'm going to write it. Subthread one dot join. Here I'm writing two dot join. Two dot join. I'll say here two dot join. So on I'm going to say, here I'm writing it, n dot join, n dot join. So I hope this is more clear. Understood? Fine. Online students, I hope it is more clear. This is called subthread threading modalities. So this lock class will be coming into the synchronization concept. If you look at functions in threading model, the lock class is there now, which I mentioned it. That will come in where deadlock occurrence. That is in the further class. In the next class, this will be coming. So right now we will be talking about examples now. Shall I go to the examples? Right. So one announcement is tomorrow is a holiday. So they already institute announced tomorrow is a holiday, students. So students, tomorrow is holiday. So holiday. So already. So on this occasion, institute announced a holiday. So try to ensure next class is on what? Friday. Next class is on Friday. Okay, now. So this Sunday I may take a class. This Sunday I may take a class because tomorrow is the holiday is coming. I will take Sunday class. Sunday online only, offline no. Online only I will take. So who is that? Rajesh Kumar. Why are you crying, my dear student? So need to complete your course or not? Sunday I will take the class. Okay, na? Don't miss it. So Sunday class. Anyhow, I will intimate. So come to the point back. Is it understandable? So these are called flow of what? Functions in which class? Thread class. Now open the notes. And one more thing is, look at students. How do you develop your thread? How do you write a multi-threading program? Just to see subthread flow. See subthread flow. If I want to go for any kind of things, what is the number of approaches to develop the thread-based application? Number one, by writing. First thing is by using import the thread module, define the function, create the subthread, and execute. So I'll write it. So the thing is, before going to that, Yamini, thank you, mom. Wish you the same. Now I'm going to write it. Number of approaches to develop thread-based applications. Thread-based applications, right? Students. How many approaches are there? Two approaches are available. I want to tell you two approaches. What is the first approach? I'm writing. Look at. We have two approaches. We have two approaches for developing. We have two approaches to develop multi-threading applications. They are, number one is called by using functional programming. By using functional programming. This is number one. Second one is by using object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming. Do you know object-oriented programming? Hmm? Do you know? Don't know? Yes or no? No? Yes. Object-oriented programming. So by using what I will go for it now? Functional programming, I will take it. Functional programming, I will take it. First one is by using functional programming. Second one by using what? Object-oriented programming. Okay. By using functional programming, I am taking. What is that you see already? Already did. What is the first one? Import what? Threading. Next what? Define function with a business logic, with a thread logic. After that, what we'll create? Subthread. And next after that, what we'll do? Dispatch. That's all. So first thing, what is the step number one? Step number one, import which module? Threading module. Import threading module. Import threading module and other modules if required. Other modules if required. If required. This is number one. Step number two. Step number two. Define what function or functions with the block with the logic executed by subthreads. subthreads concurrently. Concurrently. Did you understand? Right. Step number 3. hmm, create create subthreads. Subthreads. Subthread or subthreads. Why subthreads? For executing for executing multiple for executing target functions. Target functions. Target function in the bracket. Target function for executing target functions concurrently. Okay, see the example here. Already we have, it's a welcome function, one subthread. Here if we go to it, multiple functions, multiple threads created. Next I need to do what? Dispatch the subthreads. Easy. Step number 4. Step number 4. What is that? Dispatch. Dispatch the subthreads. Dispatch the subthread. Subthreads. Subthread. Or yes, by using which function? Start function. That's all. These are the functions in where functional programming. Are you able to follow? Shall we write the example? Object-oriented programming. I'll show the example, then I will write it. Write down, all of you, open the notebook. Online students, what we discussed that I was shown here. Threading model, function names, and then subthreads is started. Because already we did with the functions. Write a Python program or write a thread-based application. Write a thread-based application. Write a thread-based application which will generate, which will generate, which will generate, which will generate 1 to n numbers, 1 to n numbers after each and every second, after each and every second, after each and every second, after each and every second. Look at carefully now. After each and every second, I will do the coding now. So did you understand this first of all? What is the logic you have to get it from there? Generating the numbers 1 to n after each and every second is our logic. See, threading means don't think that all of a sudden it is something difficult. But logic, I will write it in where function. So do that now. I'm going to take up. These are all going to be. Let us have this now. Already you know the. Already you know the points of it. So go to this place. All these functions you take it. This you take care. Now I'm going to take program now. What is this now? Functional number generation program for generating 1 to n numbers where n to n numbers after after each and every second, after each and every second by using threads. Come on, import threading, import threading, def function, number generate, number generate, generate. So this I will write it, students. Functional, functional example, functional oriented. Of I will write like this. I'll pass n here, n I'm passing. What is that n? If n less than or equal to 0, what is happening? I'll say is what? Invalid input. Is invalid input. Is invalid input. I will say here is invalid input. Is invalid input. Why these two brackets here? For which thread is printing also I want to go for it. Come on, I forget. How do I get it? Threading dot current underscore thread of dot name, comma n. This is called one of the thing. Else I will write it. Now I want to print it. What is this now? Numbers. Numbers within. Numbers within. I'll go for it. Dot format of what? Come on. N. N. You want to print the thread name also? You can. Generated by. Numbers generated by. Numbers generated by. Generated by. I'll write like this. Here I will put this. Within. Within also I will write it. What I will write now? Comma. Threading dot. What is this now? Threading dot. Current underscore thread of dot what? Name comma n. Threading. So I'll write it threading. So this threading dot current thread dot name will send it to this place. And n is going to contain this one. So next I will go for writing the logic. Simple. Our Python logic is as usual. Only today is I am adding some extra thread creation and I am starting. 1 comma n plus 1. N plus 1. I want to print that value. Value of backslash t. Value of I. Value of I is equal to comma what? I. I'll print it. I want to make it to execute after every second. After printing one number, make the thread to wait for 1 second and then continue the loop. So time dot what? Sleep off. Time dot sleep off 1 second. Time dot sleep off 1 second. Time is a module now. So making the thread, current thread which is executing here will be made wait until one sleep time is 1 second is completed. Once 1 second is completed, again go to the loop, printing sleep, again printing sleep. This will be continued until all of them are completed. Did you understand? Now go to that is my logic, which is getting done. This is not a big deal for you, which is already done. Go for what is that? Program execution started by what? Main thread and all you know now? Create what? Create. Come on. Subthread. Create subthread. Come on, create subthread. I forget how to create subthread. Students. Threading dot. Thread of. What is that? Thread of. What? Target is equal to. Target is equal to. Number generate. Number generate function. Comma. It is taking the parameter na. You need to write args is equal to. Let's say 10 comma 10 comma close. Why? It is in the tuple format. Suppose if two values are taking 64, no need to write comma because that itself is called what? Tuple only. Because of what? Passing one value, which is going to be called as what? Tuple like this. Beginning days only I said this. Beginning day number, tuple time only I said this entire thing. Subthread created. Next is what? Dispatch. Dispatch the subthread. Dispatch the subthread. How do you dispatch? T1 dot start. T1 dot start. That's all. Make it T1 dot start. Start function. It with the T1. T1 is targeted to this one. Carry this value. It will go to this number generate. N is containing the value 10, which is a positive. Numbers will be printed. Numbers will be printed. This is going to be known as what? Functional function approach. Function approach. Example 1.py. So let us go to the execute run. So Laksha, T1.join not necessary now. Why? I'm not bothering about it. I'm not deciding here. Of course, I'm not worrying about it. If you are really worrying about it, you can say what? T1.join. For one thread, there is no significance. Even if you write or not writing, it doesn't matter. I think you are following me. Execute py. See this now. What happens? Bracket closing to be taken properly. So here done, execute. So here sees that numbers generated by thread 1 within what? Within what? 10. Thread 1 only. Number generation function. Close. If you want to give your own thread, you can give it. How do you give your own thread? T1 dot name. T1 dot name is equal to student name is called Laksha. Laksha is executing this. Yesterday also we got the same thing like this. Laksha SHYA. Okay. So execute it. It is going to give you generated by Laksha within 10. Only 10 I am going to take it. So you can go for what? Dynamically also you can take it. Dynamically also you can take it. What is the dynamic now? Here only I will write it. What I will write it? Will you understand? N I am writing. N I am writing. N is equal to int of input of enter how many numbers, how many numbers you want to generate. You want to generate. Execute, execute, make this as dynamic. So enter how many numbers you want to generate. 6. So that 6 numbers. Laksha is generating within 6 plus 1 second I kept. What I do is 0.5. 0.5. 0.5 means what? In half second, two numbers will come. Earlier, 1 second, one number is coming. If I say that you execute it, it is a little faster. So I say 10, it is a little faster, it is coming. I can reduce still less. What I can reduce? 0.25. And in 1 second, four values will come. You execute it, enter how many? 20. So this is going to be a little faster than that. Are you following this? Like this. So lesser the time, faster the execution is. This part you can take like this. You see this now coming to this place. Lakshya down. Yes, got it. So function example 2.py. This n is there now. You are a programmer of modern programmer. You write this entire thing in the place of n. You are writing in the place of n. Are you following me? So remove this entire line and try to run this 2.py, 2.py. So I'll go to this place, execute py, enter the numbers. Here I said 20, 20. So it is going to give you the numbers like this. Clear? The same example, online students, I think it is more clear. Now I want to go for executing the same program with oops. Do you know oops? Hmm? Everybody. Okay. So I want to go for writing the same program through oops. Very simple. I'll carry the same thing with object-oriented programming. I will do every object-oriented program must starts with what? Plus. Simple. Functional object-oriented approach. OOP approach. Example 1.py. Same example. Here I will write it. This is my function now. This I'm writing class numbers. Class numbers. This entire thing I will take it. Which is which method? Instance method. I will write here what? Self. Self comma n. Understood? Self comma n. More important. Same thing. Nothing is there. This is number one step is import the module threading, define the class, define the method which you like it, and then come to where the subthread creation. Subthread creation you come students. So here as usual like that earlier. Earlier it was like this. Now students be careful. Now thread creation you are doing. Now you see to call this method what I need object of which class. So you cannot call normally like this. You have to call this method with respect to what? Object. So here I am writing create an object. Here I will write it. Create an object. Create an object of numbers class. Numbers class for calling for subthread for subthread for subthread to call the method. Call the instance method. To call the instance method. Okay, create. NO is equal to, what is that? Numbers of, numbers of. What I'm going to do? Numbers of. What, how do you call it? NO dot. NO dot. What is NO? NO is an object of what? Numbers class. In numbers class. In numbers class, what is present? Number generate. This is a special point you need to remember. Online students, did you understand this small modification here? Same. Everything is same. Execute, execute, done. See this, PY, anything is okay. Anything is okay. Within 10 only it is printing. 10 only printing. Are you following this? So here I will write it. Here I will write it. And Nagarajo, I will take it. Here I am writing like this. This is the number I want to pass dynamically. How do you do that? Same statement. How you did? This part I will take it. This you are already quite comfortable. This you are already quite comfortable. Execute it. Run this code. Not perfect. Say some 30. 30 is going to come like this. Okay. Now, for example, what is the time now? Okay. So this part I will tell you through constructors I will do. Already constructors explained. So I don't know whether you know it or not, but I know any object-oriented program, just left hand, left finger. You have seen yesterday I opened IIT Guwahati, one of the student in the class. You have seen the Python content what they are having. So that's why student, you have to learn so perfectly in the class. So here I am going to enter into that. Go to this place. Today, I will not write this args. I will not write this args. Why? No parameter I am taking here. So what are you doing then? DEF underscore underscore init underscore underscore of self comma x x. There I am taking self dot n is equal to what? X. Which constructor it is? Parameterized constructor. That time what I will do? I will say the value called 20. What is this now? Object created. Initialized object creation or not? Object creation. Object creation makes the PVM to call. To call what? PC. Parameterized constructor. PC అంటే మళ్ళీ మీరు మామూలు కాదు అసలు. Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. So done. Execute. And here I need to write what? Self dot n. Because self dot n is a data member or not? Here I need to write what? Self dot n. Self dot n. Self dot n. Self dot n. Are you following? Simple. 2.py. Execute. So it is going to print the data. So nice of it. I will go for dynamism to provide what I will do directly here. Int of, come on, input of, enter how many numbers you want to generate. You want to generate. Okay. So two opening brackets, one more bracket, execute, py, enter how many numbers you want to generate. 15. 15 numbers are coming now. Easy or difficult now? Easy. So this is one thing I can say. Here I will go to it. See now, I'll go to one more thing. What I do is, and you are good in programming, what I do is, NO is equal to what? This entire thing I will write it. NO dot you have written. I will simply write what? NO. I will write this. This is called, without creating an object, I'm calling the function. This is called a nameless object. nameless object. Nameless object. So beautiful. Nameless object. Getting or not? Yes. Execute 3.py, 3.py. Execute. What is this now? See this now. 3.py. Say 10 numbers are going to come. Easy or difficult? Easy. Very easy. So here, this is the one how we are going to assign. Following? So this is comes under nameless object creation we can call. So what are the approaches here we did? What are the approaches we have here? Here, where is it? Here I'm having. What is the first thing? Same thing, I will write it. Extra what will come here? Display to. Define what? Programmer defined class. Programmer defined class with appropriate method with the logic executed by subthreads concurrently with the methods executed by subthread concurrently. Are you following or not? In that method I need to have the logic or not? Yes. Step number 3. What is the step number 3? Create what? Subthreads. Create subthreads. Step number 4. What? Dispatch the subthreads. Extra, define the function, define the programmer defined class. Dispatch the subthreads by using what? Start. This is the object oriented. This is a functional approach. So I can write the thread based application either with oops or I can write with what? Functional programming. Because we know both functional programming and object oriented. Which one is the lightweight programming? Object oriented is the best one. Clear? So this is what today's lecture is. I will post this module and I'll post this example. That is next class. That is on Friday. Right. Manas, you can inherit. Can we inherit thread class into user defined class? Student, already when they are giving thread class, what is the need of taking that inheriting into thread class and all? What is the need of that? You can inherit it. There is no doubt in that. But when already they are giving direct class for us, why can't you create your own object? Right or not? You can create. In Java, we do that only. In Java, we do what? Class, our class name, inheriting thread class only. But here it is giving directly thread class here. Okay, now? So I'll stop my class and don't miss the further class. So Friday, tomorrow is holiday. On account of Diwali, Institute announced a holiday. And the next class, Friday class, we'll meet it. Thank you, students. Advanced happy Diwali for everybody.